Trust. That's a word every shooter thinks they own until a gun blows it to pieces. I've carried pistols that looked bulletproof on every blog, every forum, every slick YouTube ad. Trusted by everyone. But you know what never shows up in those photos? The split second when that trusted gun chokes and your luck runs out. It's 2025. The hype machine's louder than ever. Some handguns on this list earned their reputation in the dirt after years of punishment. Others, they just rode a wave of likes and half-truths. But every so-called most trusted pistol is just one bad mag away from making a fool out of anyone, myself included. Today, I'm putting every legend on trial, not because I want to, but because I had to. There was a time this gun had real promise to it. Match grade barrel, crisp flat face trigger, aggressive slide serrations, all things gun guys drool over. The XDM Elite looked like Springfield's answer to the Glock 34, the Canik SFX, the Walther Q5 match. But somehow, it just didn't land. You take it to the range, and yeah, it shoots flat, but the trigger wall feels spongy compared to a Walther. The grip safety, still there, still weird, and that bulky slide makes it feel heavier than it is. It's like they packed features into a gun that wasn't ready to carry them. And here's the kicker. This thing gets tons of 5-star ratings online. It's always top rated, always underrated, always popping up on someone's best of list, but nobody's actually carrying this in real life. It's not in the holsters of comps, it's not riding on duty belts, it's not tearing up USPSA matches. So you have to ask, is it really worthy or just rated high because it looks good on paper? If you've never shot a Shadow 2, you haven't truly shot anything. This isn't just high rated, this is top tier obsession. Competitive shooters call it cheating, and you'll understand why the second that trigger snaps back like it's reading your mind. The weight? Perfect. Not heavy or floaty. It anchors every shot like you're welding steel to your hand. Slide cuts, steel frame, and a single action pull that feels more like a fine instrument than a weapon. It's not overkill. It's CZ's answer to mediocrity. It doesn't care if you conceal it, doesn't care about polymer trends. It was born to dominate matches, not fit in a waistband. People call this overhyped until they get behind one, and then the conversation flips. It doesn't ask for approval, it earns every inch of its reputation, one ragged hole at a time. You want to talk worthy? This one doesn't just make the cut, it sets the damn standard. You shoot a Shadow 2 and suddenly everything else feels like a toy. But what if I told you that the next gun right after this is even more dangerous and nobody saw it coming? Let's get to our number one pick. There are handguns, and then there's the Sig Sauer P320 Legion SAO. This one doesn't ask for respect, it walks in and commands it. Every time I take it to the range, you see heads turning. But this isn't some flashy safe queen, oh no. It was built to perform when performance matters most. Like the name SAO suggests, single action only. Flat trigger, crisp like snapping dry twigs. You'll feel everything, and in this case, that's a good thing. No mush, no guesswork, just pure mechanical honesty. And that full steel frame, it makes recoil feel like a whisper. Follow-ups are fast, on target, and confident. But here's the part most folks miss out on. This isn't just for nostalgia or elite bragging rights. This is the pistol Navy SEALs trusted for decades, except now refined and modernized. It's heavy, yes, but heavy with intention. But is it worthy? Look, if your idea of worthy is plastic and popularity contests, keep scrolling. But if you want something with a soul, something that performs like it knows it belongs in your hand, the Legion SAO might just be your last stop. And yes, this one earned every ounce of its legendary reputation. I've backed this gun since day one, but it's wild how many folks still talk trash like they've never even shot it. Too blocky, too tall, too tactical looking was all that noise. Meanwhile, this thing outperforms most of the hyped up crowd pleasers in just about every category that actually matters. Grip, unreal. It sticks to your hand like it was built specifically for you. The trigger, clean, predictable, and miles ahead of most striker-fired handguns. Red dot ready? It's not an add-on. It was designed for optics from the start. Not an add-on. It was designed for optics from the get-go. People overlook it because it doesn't have the Glock name or Sig logo, but that's their loss. I've run this baby in rain, dirt, and cold. Never once failed me. It's not just reliable, it's smooth, accurate, fast, and criminally underrated. So, is the PDP worthy of being one of the best rated handguns of 2025? Hell yes. It's just that the masses haven't yet caught up. Now, I have a confession to make. I never used to trust Smith & Wesson autos. Revolver, sure, but their semi-autos always felt like they were trying too hard to chase Glock's shadow until this thing showed up. Well, I'm not talking about that Shield Plus. That'll always be my favorite. I'm talking about the M&P 2.0 Compact in the metal frame version, which gives you the feeling that someone at S&W finally said, screw it, let's just make a war tank. This thing doesn't pretend. It's cold steel and recoil control with none of the polymer flex that makes other compacts feel like toys when you're running drills. That tungsten gray finish, it's not for show. It's made to vanish under street lights and beat the hell out of your holster without ever begging for a touch-up. And the way the slide tracks, it's straight line brutal. Zero chatter, no wondering. Just punch, reset, and punch again. I've run this one wet, dry, and once even coated in desert sand on a night shoot in Texas. Never once did it hiccup. I was switching between carry ammo and reloads mid-mag just to screw with it, but it still ran. That trigger, crisp enough to cut through the noise of a training day. May not be perfect, but it doesn't lie to you. It's a shooter's pistol and not a showman piece. The Glock 43X MOS is everywhere. On forums, in holsters, on dealer top seller lists. It's the people's pick for carry in 2025. And when you hold it, it's easy to see why. Slim frame, 10+1 capacity, optic ready, and that Glock reliability baked right in. Sounds like a no-brainer, right? But here's the kicker. Is it worthy of the hype or just the safest bet in a dull lineup? Because once you start digging, the cracks start showing. The stock trigger still feels like a compromise. The grip texture, too polite. And yes, the MOS plate does give options, but you'll need extra money, extra parts, and maybe even extra patience just to mount the optic that you want. In other words, it's praised for what it could be, not always what it is out of the box. I've carried it, I've trusted it, but I've also outgrown it. There are newer pistols that are far more refined and more modern, while Glock clings to its proven mold. And for some, that's exactly the point. But the next pick? That's what the Glock 43X wishes it evolved into. They say German engineering never misses, and at first glance, the HK-VP9 looks like it deserves every bit of praise that it gets. Sleek slide serrations, perfect ergonomics, and a trigger that practically resets itself. It just screams refined. But here's where I started to question everything, because the moment you hit the range, you expect magic. Yet what you get is familiarity. It's not bad though, far from it actually. It's consistent, it's accurate, it feels right, but is it $800+ right? Is it worthy of being crowned one of the best guns of 2025 when newer pistols are doing more for less? And let's not forget, it's not optics ready right out of the box. The modularity? Limited. No threaded barrel, no frame cuts. In a world where even budget pistols are coming with red dot slides and suppressor height sights, the VP9 is starting to show its age. Still, you press the trigger and everything clicks. The recoil's soft, the control is surgical. It never disrespects you. But is that enough in 2025? Stick around, because the next pick nearly dethroned the VP9, and it's not what you think. On paper, this thing should have crushed the market. FN calls it tactical, reviewers call it overbuilt, and the military gave it serious looks. But here's the truth. For a gun rated this high, the FN 509 Tactical has left a lot of shooters scratching their heads. Yes, it's durable. Yes, it's got optics-ready slide, threaded barrel, raised sights, and everything. But when you actually shoot it, it feels disconnected. The grip's blocky, the trigger has that weird slack, and the high bore axis, it kicks more than you'd expect. This isn't a Glock clone. It's a whole different beast, and some folks just don't like how it moves. I've seen guys sell it within 100 rounds. Others swear it's their battle pistol for life. No joke. So is it worthy of all the praise? Well, if you know what you're getting into. It wasn't made for beginners. It was made to fight, suppressor and all. It'll survive abuse most pistols won't, but if you're just looking for a fun range toy or a slim EDC, this thing might disappoint you. The CZ-P10C is one of those pistols that gun guys swear by, but most casual shooters don't touch. And honestly, I was the same. I figured it was just another Glock killer that wouldn't survive the hype until I actually got one dirty and things changed real fast. At first glance, it may not attract your attention. No trigger dingus gimmicks, no optics plates that flex like cheap plastic. But once you get behind it, that grip melts into your hand. The texture feels like someone at CZ actually cared. And the trigger? It doesn't fake a wall like most polymer guns. It breaks. Clean, predictable, every time. Still, this thing had its flaws. When it launched, holster support sucked. Aftermarket parts were hit or miss, and people treated it like the weird cousin of the CZ75. But here's the twist. It earned its stripes the hard way. In rain, in dirt, in drills where Glocks choked, and this one didn't even blink. And that's when I stopped laughing. Is it perfect? No, by no means. But is it worthy of the high ratings in 2025? Well, after what I've just seen, maybe it's not just worthy, maybe we're just late to the party. And the gun that's coming up next, it was never supposed to be this good, and now it's terrifying the big names if you can believe that. Let me be honest. I ignored the Canik TP9 SFX for years, thought it was just another cheap import trying to act premium. You've probably seen the memes. Budget gamer gun, Turkish clone, whatever. But here's the hard truth. This thing shut everyone up. The first time I ran drills with it, the trigger felt like it belonged in a $1,500 pistol. The reset was so crisp, it caught me off guard. Slide cuts, fiber optic sights, optics ready? Yep, the specs look like a shopping list someone filled out while dreaming, but lo and behold, they're real. And that long slide, it eats recoil like it's bored. You'll be so taken aback that you'll start to wonder if your $900 competition rig was a waste of money instead of a wise investment. Is it flawless? No, not even close. The finish isn't Glock tough, and holster options used just sunk. But 2025, people aren't just noticing it, they're defending it, and that says something. Is it worthy? If you think high rated means high dollar, this gun will mess with your pride. Next one's even worse. I used to laugh at it, but not anymore. Let me tell you something that didn't come off a spec sheet. This thing jammed on me. Twice. And not in some brutal torture test, just regular drills. I don't care how many people online defend it. When a gun chokes during basic training, that's not a mistake, that's a memory. Add to the fact that Taurus customer service gave me the runaround when I tried to follow up. Weeks of silence. That's what really pissed me off. Now here's the flip side. There's no denying it sells like crazy. Budget buyers want something compact, 12+1 with a solid trigger for under $300, and the G3C delivers on paper. Clean break, decent reset, textured grip that doesn't feel like a melted toy. If yours runs fine, you'll probably swear by it, but I won't sugarcoat my experience. This thing failed me. And if we're asking whether this high-rated pistol is actually worthy in 2025, you better pray your unit isn't like mine. Next one might surprise you. It's a full-size pistol that got tactical guys hyped for a good reason. You know what makes you regret a carry gun? When it tries to play it safe and ends up doing nothing well. That's where the Ruger Max 9 breaks the cycle. It's not pretending to be elite, it's not chasing Glock's shadow, it's a working class pistol that just doesn't screw up the basics. Most people walk right past this gun because it doesn't scream tactical. But take it to the range, shoot a few mags fast, and it earns your respect right away. The recoil impulse is surprisingly flat, and it tracks well enough to make a Hellcat sweat. Add to the fact that it comes optics ready right out of the box, and you've got something even Springfield didn't give you for free. And price-wise, this thing's a punch to the throat of every overpriced Micro 9 out there. It costs less than most of its competitors and still brings a solid trigger and capacity. That's the part people miss. You don't need flex to win. Would I trust it for EDC? I already have, and I've got zero regrets. You think the Glock 19 is overhyped? Well, that's fine. But it still might be the only handgun on this list that even your enemies would carry if they had to trust one shot. The Glock 19 Gen 5 isn't flashy or trending. It doesn't even have that new gun smell anymore. But the reason it's still one of the highest rated pistols of 2025 is because it never failed people when it counted. The Gen 5 updates fixed nearly every gripe people had. No finger grooves, ABI controls, better barrel. It's a Glock, yes, but it's also the most refined version of Glock's original formula, and that's what keeps it alive. Nobody's raving about it on Instagram, but ask anyone who's used one in a real fight or in 20 below zero or after 5,000 rounds of dirty ammo and they'll tell you straight. You only complain about the Glock 19 until the gun in your hand starts jamming. But do keep watching because the next one takes the Glock formula and pushes it into dangerous territory. There was a time people whispered about dropping a Sig P320. Literally, it wasn't praise, it was fear. The early models, they had a tendency to fire when dropped. No trigger pull, just gravity and boom. Officers got hurt, lawsuits flooded in, Dallas PD backed out. The gun was almost dead on arrival, but here's where it gets crazy. They didn't dump the model, they doubled down. Quiet redesigns, voluntary upgrades, a massive overhaul of the fire control unit, and suddenly the P320 was trusted again. The US Army didn't just adopt it, they made it the M17 and M18 standard issue. That modular FCU, it's genius. You can swap slides, grips, and calibers. It's like Legos for grown men with good taste in guns. It still got haters, no doubt about that. Some call it top-heavy or overrated, but facts don't lie. It clawed back from disaster and earned its spot at the top. And if this redemption arc impressed you, just wait. The next one never fell because it's been king for years. This one fooled everyone, including me. I thought the APX A1 carry was a throwaway, generic polymer frame, awkward slide cuts, forgettable branding. Even looked like something Beretta made just to say, hey, we're in the CCW game too. And for months, nobody gave a damn. But somehow, the people who actually bought it, they never shut up about it, and I started noticing something weird. It kept showing up at the range. Guys weren't just carrying it, they were trusting it. Day after day, holster wear, beat up frames, but still going strong. So I finally put 300 rounds through one, and I get it now. It's not pretty or marketable, but it's reliable, accurate, and the trigger's way better than you'd expect. This isn't a gun for the spotlight, it's a survivor. It's not the one everyone wants, it's the only one they end up carrying. The truth? Trust is just borrowed time with a pistol, never guaranteed. Every gun on this list was somebody's sure thing until it wasn't. Maybe it survived your rain, your dirt, or your daily carry, but that doesn't make it invincible. Every legend here is one round, one failure, one silent malfunction away from being the next gun you regret owning. So I'll ask you straight, which handgun has never failed you, and which one made you swear off the hype for good? Drop your stories in the comments, but don't bother looking for closure here. Trust breaks in a second, and the only thing worse than being wrong is pretending you never were. I'm Steve, so stay sharp, stay suspicious, and don't let trust turn into your next mistake.